So, Arsenal versus Atletico Madrid, one of the most boring games that I've watched this
It
year.
was so bad. It
It
was
was, it
so
was
bad.
so bad. Um, Honestly, watching those two, it's honestly it was surprising that was a Champions League semifinal. I mean, from the last few seasons to this, the game has fallen off, I feel like.
I mean, versus Arsenal, personally, I think Arsenal have been kind of robbing a lot of teams this season.
Didn't he, honestly, he wasn't even that impactful as well. So, honestly, really disappointing. So, Arsenal versus Atletico Madrid, one of the most boring games that I've watched
It
this year.
was so bad. It
It
was
was, it
so
was
bad.
so bad. Um, Honestly, watching those two, it's honestly it was surprising that was a Champions League semifinal. I mean, from the last few seasons to this, the game has fallen off, I feel like.
It was, I think, all right, let's talk about the first leg. So the first leg, it started, and I think everyone kind of understood that it was going to be just a buns game.
Yeah, I mean, it went exactly how everybody thought it was gonna go. It was go 1-1 and not one open goal play. It was just
Not one open
ends.
goal play. I
Mhm.
think I was a little surprised, honestly, that at the fact that at the Olympico it ended 1-1. I was expecting more of like a shutout game, maybe 0-0, 1-0. I don't know. I was a little surprised by that result. I think it should have been a bit better than what it was.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, you could see how Atletico Madrid and Arsenal played in both legs. And yeah, you can shame Barca and the other teams that lost to them. But yeah, Arsenal and Barca, they play total different type of football. Arsenal so defensive, so not so high up. I'm like Barca, a high line is what gets them every single time. Yeah, the pressure's good and whatnot, but those little moments in the Champions League, you can't be affording those mistakes. Like from Cubarsí to Garcia, it's just in this league phases you can't be doing that. So
Barca also had the unfortunate, I think the last few times they played versus Athletic, they just get red carded. They are controversial. I'm more of the opinion that maybe they shouldn't have been red cards.
yeah.
Um,
Mhm.
but I mean, versus Arsenal, personally, I think Arsenal have been kind of robbing a lot of teams this season. Just controversial penalties, including the ones in the game versus Arsenal at the Atletico. Atletico got kind of fortunate that the second penalty awarded wasn't given, not because it wasn't a penalty, but because I think Arsenal have been kind of, dipping their fingers in the corruption scheme a little bit when it comes to those decisions. And the fact that it didn't go their way is actually very fortunate.
Yeah, I'm with you with that. I mean, so many 50-50 calls the ref could have made, but honestly, I'm in the ref side. I think they were soft. It could have been a pin, it could have not. This whole season, the call has been all over the place. I mean, it could really be like you didn't recognize the rules anymore because one game they give a pen for this, the other game it's not a pen. It's the rules change very by game, but I believe both sides, both games, both legs, or the ref was decent. Was
Yeah,
decent.
I think he made most of the right calls. The only thing, looking at the second leg, the only call that I cannot agree with, no matter how you look at it, is uh Calafiori's foul on Griezmann in the first half. In the second half, sorry. Uh Atletico on the counter, they
Oh yeah.
go in for the attack. I think was it Molina? He jumps up to kind of shoot in a way. Gabriel kicks his leg up. They somehow
Hmm.
call it a foul on Gabriel. And
Yeah,
then
yeah.
as the play goes on, Calafiori steps on Griezmann. That isn't given because for some reason Gabriel gets fouled on. I could be remembering it wrong, but watching it real time and watching the replay, it just never should that be given a foul to the attacker.
Yeah, no, I'm with you. It's like Gabriel knew what he was doing. He was putting himself in that dangerous position. Like, how are you going to call that foul if you put yourself in that dangerous situation? You're gonna get hit no matter what. I mean,
Yeah,
it could be tactical run out, but either way, I don't think that was a foul. I think it's more of a foul on the Aleti player. Forgot who it was, but and
yeah.
Gabriel, I wouldn't have called that. But yeah, honestly, that was one of the most controversial calls of the game. I feel like that one should have been a pen, but
In my opinion, that call decided the game, and it's very unfortunate. I'm looking at the stats right now. Victor Gyökeres, the commentators during the whole game, they were talking about his work ethic and his how much energy he's putting into the game. Looking at the ratings, Gyökeres has the lowest rating out of everyone on the pitch. He ended with a 5.8. He's in the
that's
red.
honestly surprising. I thought he was probably the best and for the Arsenal side. He was so dangerous and he's winning those 50-50s, progressing the play, stopping play. I think he was probably the best.
I
That is
think
really surprising.
Lookman getting subbed off early,
Mm,
I think wasn't a surprise to anybody. That wasn't a surprise. Simeone getting subbed off. I was a little surprised about that. The big shocker was Alvarez and Griezmann getting subbed off early.
yeah.
And again, another decision that, but when it happened, me and my family, while we were watching, me and my brother, we were like, what the hell is Simeone doing? Like, why are you
Yeah.
taking off the most creative players on your team right now?
Mhm. I'm pretty sure Alvarez was like an injury or something because he hasn't played a La Liga game and I don't know how many days he has had ankle issues, but I think it wasn't really clarified, but I think it was maybe an injury or something. He was feeling something, but for sure when those players went off, you could see Aleti dropped for sure. Thoris Loss could not do him by himself up there, so yeah, Aleti really did drop. There was always one step behind Arsenal after those players got
They
subbed
were.
off.
They were, and it seemed like the strategy at that point was get the ball, get it to Llorente, and hope that he could probably do something.
Yeah.
And he never could. I mean, granted, he is a class player. It's hard to trash on him. You can't. But when Griezmann is the first option, going down to Llorente as your creative spark is it's a big downgrade. And it is a shame that Griezmann gets subbed off early in his last Champions League game. That's
Yeah,
something
yeah,
nobody wants to see.
yeah, for sure. I think a really disappointing last game for Griezmann. I mean, such a legacy that player um has, but yeah, really disappointing how he went out. Didn't even get to finish the game. Didn't he, honestly, he wasn't even that impactful as well. So honestly, really disappointing for Griezmann. A game to honestly somewhat forget from him.
Yeah, and honestly, semifinal to forget for everyone. No one's happy that except for the Arsenal fans. Congrats to them for making the final. But definitely a leg or a semifinal leg to forget, especially considering that last year we were watching Barcelona, Inter Milan, PSG, and Arsenal, same Arsenal side,
Yeah,
with very few changes. The only changes from what I can tell are Eze and Gyökeres to the starting
yeah.
11 of that.
Hmm.
Um, which I mean, you could argue, oh, that made the difference, but let's be real. All it was they got fortunate they were on the side of the easy side, which barely scraping by in those games as well. I mean, I think this is the first game of the round of 16 that they play where it ends with more than one goal through
Yeah,
the two legs.
yeah. Yeah, really different from what we've seen from the past semifinals. Usually it's really dramatic, a lot of goals and more controversial calls, but this game really slow. You could really tell it was really defensive minded and really like they were really careful what they were doing. So yeah, honestly, really different from what we've seen before and
Yeah,
not
and
the most entertaining.
like you said, this game was a lot more defensive minded. We we watched more of a modern football game
Yeah.
semifinal. I mean, two big clubs, two big names. Harambal at its finest, the two biggest Harambal
Yeah,
coaches.
no
But
kidding, man. Yeah.
I think we are taking it a little for granted, seeing as tomorrow and last week are probably going to be given the best semifinal legs probably ever seen. 9 goals in last week's game.
Yeah.
I mean, there's no one else to talk about but PSG and Bayern tomorrow at the Allianz Stadium. What do you think?
I mean, I think it's a game that you can't miss for sure. After the first leg, there's no way you can miss the second leg. I mean, you're going to be playing at the Allianz Arena, possibly the two best stadiums, best atmosphere. You got Parc de France, then you got Munich, you got Allianz is the environment's going to be insane. The best players by far are going to be playing in that pitch. I mean, it's going to be insane. Honestly, Arsenal, whoever they're playing, their leagues behind them. To be
There,
honest.
yeah, it's going to be a difficult game, and like you said, it's the atmosphere is out of this world. A friend of mine went to go watch a Bayern game last season, and the whole stadium it just looks like a bloodbath. It's just red everywhere, red flames. It's something you have to witness with your eyes. And like you said, the best players. There are at least four Ballon d'Or contenders in tomorrow's semifinal leg. I'm talking about Ousmane Dembele, Kvaratskhelia, Kane, Olise. I would go as far to say as Luis Diaz. You could maybe put him as contender, but not as maybe not as probable to win as any of the other four. I mean, from last game alone, I'm looking at the ratings right now. Dembele ended with a 9. Kvaratskhelia 8.9, Kane an 8, Olise 8.1, Diaz 8.7. The midfield was on top. Pavlovic and Kimmich 7.1, 7.3. Vitinha Neves 7.2, 7.3. The defense was in absolute shambles. I mean, Manuel Neuer, arguably the best goalkeeper ever. Honorable mentions Thibaut Courtois, uh, Gianluigi Buffon. He ended with a 5.1. When has that ever happened before?
Uh,
Where Manuel Neuer ends with a 5.1 and the opposing goalkeeper ends with zero point 0.9, a zero point 0.9 score higher than him with a 6.
Yeah, like you said, it's not because they're bad. It's just how good the attack is. The rating honestly is not doing them justice. They both played good, but it's just the attack, man. That both teams attacking are just something out of this world, man. In the defense, like again, the scoreline isn't doing justice for the defense. That defense was top tier. Upamecano really stepping up. Marquinhos and Pacho. I mean, it's not the defense is bad. Just both teams are just too good, just too so attack minded.
And I'm glad that you mentioned that about the ratings not doing them justice. Pacho had a off the line clearance at the very end of that first leg, a shot from Kimmich. He ends with the 5.6 the game. Mendes 5.6, Hakimi 5.9. Marquinhos is the only defender in this lineup besides Upamecano. They are both ended with a 6.5 or 6.7. Stancic, Ta, and Davies 5.9, 5.4, 6.1. I mean, the ratings are just abysmal. Just looking at it like this, you just think, whoa, they were just like playing with daisies or whatever. And
Yeah.
you're right. It with an attack with attacks like this, the performance that they gave was pretty much as good as it's gonna get. And I think tomorrow we're in for a similar, if not better, game, especially with so much to play for. I mean,
Yeah.
arguably, this is you win this game, you win the Champions League, in my
hmm
opinion.
Yeah, no, I'm totally with you. Whoever wins this, I think is basically winning the Champions League. Arsenal, or I don't see him keeping up with them. But something about both teams is just they're so confident on the ball and off the ball. They're always running. Unlike other teams like Real Madrid that have superstars, like they don't run at all. But these guys, they're so good, but not because of that, they don't have excuses saying, I'm not going to go run for the ball. They lose the ball, they're running. They're always running, giving it. They're all so confident. I mean, it's something we haven't really seen in a while.
What's your score prediction?
Or prediction, I mean, you can't go low. I'm gonna give it 4-3. I think Bayern are gonna come on top right now. And Pens, I don't know who's gonna win on Pens, man, but I think
Okay.
before 3, Bayern's gonna come on top.
Yeah, I have to agree. 4-3. 4-3. And honestly, I think Bayern on top. I think Neuer has a lot to prove with his last couple Champions League games, especially also versus Real Madrid. He is. There are rumors. If I'm wrong, they might have already extended, but there are rumors of him extending his contract with Bayern Munich, and this is the perfect chance for him to show that what he is still worth. I mean, you can't argue that he's not worth anything, but twilight of his career, I think now big step up, win another Champions League, go out with the bang, another year with Bayern. You win the Bundesliga, go for it again. But even if you don't win it next year you go off with the Champions League, and I think this is his moment to do that.
Yeah, for sure. I think he knows that as well. He knows that like he has such a great legacy. he's known as one of the best, or if not, yeah, like you said, the best keeper in history. He has to prove it. He has to show that he is still there. And like I said, he's really good. But the first leg against Real Madrid, absolutely legendary, showing who he was. The second leg, I mean, two mistakes that gave Real Madrid the two goals right there. Or at least one, I think. I kind of forgot, but yeah, like you said, he's one of the best in history, but he has to show it again tomorrow. I mean, he's probably going to be he's going to be one of the main mans everybody's going to be looking at is Manuel Neuer.
He cannot rely on his attacking trio to go all the way just by themselves because unfortunately that's just not how it works. And we saw it last week. They did everything they could have done. They did everything they could have done. If Manuel Neuer didn't, as much as it hurts to say, if he didn't jump out of the way for Kvaratskhelia shot, we would be having a complete different conversation right now. We'd be saying Manuel Neuer, what a save, 4-4 going to the Allianz, clear Bayern win. I mean, at least in my opinion, because that's the boost of morale you need going into the second leg at home.
Yeah, no, I totally agree with that. I mean, but yeah, Manuel Neuer, he is one of the greatest. But like I said, like you were saying, it was just those little things that kind of you step back. He's the best, but what's happening here? You could say he is older than his coach, Vincent Company. Vincent, his coach, is younger than him, but maybe it's the age but with the great experience he has, I mean, coming to his game, I think he's going to be one of the main mans you're going to look at to really step up and prove to the world that he's the greatest of all time.
Depends who wins on the Champions League. Who would you give the Ballon d'Or? You know, excluding the World Cup, which is something we'll talk about in the future. But Bayern wins the Champions League. Who wins the Ballon d'Or in your book?
But yeah, between honestly, the main two would be between Kane and Olise, but I mean, Kane's all over the place, but Olise, man, he's so clutch off that right wing. Honestly, you can give it to anyone, and like it would be, I think it would be fine with it. You know, it's not too
Yeah.
controversial, but probably you have to give it to Harry Kane. I mean, top goal scorer, and as a striker, he's going down to the six. I mean, this guy's all over the place, and right now, as of right now, not including the World Cup, but both of them are going to be looking forward to the World Cup. But I think for right now, it'd be Harry Kane. You have to, for me, give the number one. But Olise, I could totally see if you would want to give it to him as well.
Yeah, yeah. I think I would be honestly, I would be more of the Elisa side. Like you said, Harry Kane has been absolutely clinical. I mean, he's been the goal scorer of the season. Every week, all you hear is, "Oh, Harry Kane, another brace, another goal, another hat trick." And it's consistent. He is, yes, granted that he is playing in the Bundesliga, but it's impressive that he is able to do this, then take it to Europe and keep it up. Michael Elise, I think, gets a little overshadowed by that, but he is what you would want a winger to be in every aspect of the word. He's flary, he's clever, he's unselfish, he's smart. He can shoot from anywhere, he can score from anywhere, he can run. I don't know. For me, it's just a little more difficult to edge Kane over Olise just simply because Olise has been so critical for Kane's success that maybe you could argue that it's really just all Olise's work and Kane is profiting off of it.
Yeah, I totally agree with you. I mean, Elise has been absolutely clinical in that left and that right wing. I mean, he has done everything. I mean, he's scoring, he's dribbling, he's progressing the ball, he's playmaking. His playmaking, I think, is so underrated. He can also play as a 10, as we've seen. I mean, when he goes in that middle and the wing, he can do it all.
Yeah. So I agree. And if PSG win, who's your favorite for the Ballon d'Or? You know, again, excluding the World Cup.
Yeah. I mean, honestly, I think this season, Kvaratskhelia has been the best player for PSG. That man off that wing, he can do everything as well. I mean, he's so lethal off that left wing. He can dribble, he can play make, he can score. Whenever you get the ball, you look at him like, oh, he's about to do something dangerous. And I just think he's been owning that left side so much. Ousmane Dembele, a slow start, I feel in Ligue 1. I mean, both of them, but I don't know. Recently, I've been seeing Kvaratskhelia really own up, really take that team for himself, and I think he's been the best PSG player this season.
Yeah, and I have to agree with you. Kvaratskhelia this season. Ousmane Dembele, of course, he had that unfortunate injury around the time that he won the Ballon d'Or, so maybe he wasn't able to keep going with that momentum right off of the Ballon d'Or as he would have liked. But Kvaratskhelia has always been class, even at Naples. It and he showed it again in the semifinal. I think versus Bayern Munich tomorrow, that is who you really have to worry about. Ousmane Dembele, yes, but he has been a little more iffy, even against Liverpool. He missed a few shots. He scored a brace in the second leg. That's correct, but that wasn't before him, you know, kind of scuffing his shots that should have gone. And even with Bayern Munich, there was a couple chances where he runs in behind that back line. Bayern Munich playing that high line as well. Manuel Neuer getting a little fortunate that Ousmane Dembele's shot just goes straight out instead of curling toward that back post. Um, Meanwhile, Kvaratskhelia in the next play, he gets the ball, runs in that exact same position in an even harder moment because he's being marked and he's got players all around him. He picks out that far post. And that's something that, unfortunately, I think Ousmane Dembele has been missing a little more than Kvaratskhelia. And that's why I agree with you. Then he has the advantage of the Ballon d'Or in my book
Yeah.
with that.
I just think it's really unfortunate for him. It is a World Cup, and him in Georgia, I don't know. It could affect his run for the Ballon d'Or, but when you're Ousmane Dembele, you're safe. You're playing, I would say, a little bit lower than Kvaratskhelia, but either way, you're playing good enough. And France, I mean, you have a great teammates. You're gonna go far, and it's really gonna
Yeah.
help him with that PR for the Ballon d'Or. But the really thing is, if let's say it doesn't matter who wins the Champions League. Who would be the main man that you would really want to go for the Ballon d'Or if France win the World Cup? Would it be Ousmane Dembele or would it be Olise? I mean, two of them are I wouldn't say similar players, but so crucial for both sides and goal scoring and just a big name. So I don't
Yeah.
know, France. Yeah.
Yeah, I
Mm.
agree. Now, assuming Arsenal win the Champions League, who's your Ballon d'Or pick? And I think I have I'll let you go first, but I think I have a pretty decent shout.
I mean, for me, it's still Arsenal have no Ballon d'Or contenders. Honestly, I wouldn't even put none of them like top five. I'll be honest. It's none of them really show out. So even if they win the Champions League, I wouldn't say none of them is going to win the Ballon d'Or. But if Arsenal
If
do
if
win it,
if Arsenal do win it, I mean, I agree with you. No one on that squad deserves the Ballon d'Or. I'm
yeah,
I'm talking more about just in general. Now all of a sudden you have an open roster of players that you can pick
mhm.
from. Who would you
For
who would you
me,
put?
for me, without the PR, I think it totally depends how he does in the World Cup. I think Lamine Yamal for this
Really?
season, for me, he's been the best player. I mean, this guy is just he's so entertaining to watch. Like he can play make, he scores goals, he carries that team. You could really see when Barcelona have Lamine Yamal, it's not the same. This guy at the age of 18 carrying Barcelona, I mean, it's absolutely he would be in the semifinal right now if it wasn't for that high line, that risky high line for the defense that let him down. But for me,
Yeah.
I think Lamine Yamal has been the best player.
Yeah, I do agree he has been absolutely the best player for Barcelona. I was seeing a post I think yesterday saying his stats for the season and his ratings, and he not once does he fall into the orange category. He never lands anything below a 7 unless he isn't playing. And like you said, Barcelona has had to lean and rely on him so much this season. And every game he just pulls up, in every game it looks like the pressure just doesn't get to him, but it gets to his teammates. And I think that's something that might really bring him down when it comes to Ballon d'Or. If he wins the World Cup, then yeah, I have to agree. I think Lamine Yamal will probably take it. But honestly, my favorite for this, and this is very situational, it really just depends on how the Premier League goes. If Man City can pull off the domestic treble, my favorite to win the Ballon d'Or would be Erling Haaland. And that's
Uh-huh.
because this season, he's been showing up to the bigger games, scored in the Carabao Cup final. He scored versus Arsenal. He scored versus Liverpool. He did score in the Carabao Cup final, right? Or was it just?
No, it was
Actually,
O'Reilly. He was O'Reilly.
yeah, it was O'Reilly. So he might
Mm.
have not have done that, but he has shown through the bigger games this season that he can show up for those games. And we know that, but in other years where he has been a contender, he has kind of lacked that in his game. Where maybe in the when with the treble season with the Man City, he didn't really score in the semis or in the finals of any of those trophies. And I think if they can pull off the domestic treble, that along with him being a big, probably the biggest key to dragging Norway to the World Cup is going to boost his chances so much more.
Yeah. I can see what you're talking about, but I feel like there's a few things that Holland has done that will affect that run for the Ballon d'Or. I mean that slow run he had in the beginning 2026 for a few weeks, like those poor performances, and then later on, yeah, not playing in the high level, just getting out in the round of 16, I'm pretty sure, to Real Madrid. I mean, the Champions League, as we've seen from last season and seasons before, the Champions League is probably one of the biggest things that determine the Ballon d'Or. But I totally agree with you. I can see Holland being for sure up there, and it's totally up on the domestic treble. And if Norway actually, if he can score a few more goals for Norway, I can totally see him being being winning the Ballon d'Or. But I think Harry Kane will be the guy he has to go against for that one because striker, who would you take, Harry Kane or Holland? And that's gonna be one of the
Yeah.
biggest ones.
Yeah, that's true. And I agree with you. He has been missing some aspects of his game, but he's my favorite if Arsenal win the Champions League. If
Yeah,
PSG or Bayern win the Champions League, then I mean, hate to say it, but it's just going to be another Ballon d'Or miss for Erling Haaland. If Arsenal can, do what nobody wants to happen and win the Ballon and win the Champions League, then Haaland has a decent shout, but he does still have to go up against the likes of Harry Kane, Michael Olise, Lamine Yamal, Kvaratskhelia, and Dembele. It's the first year in a long time where we aren't considering Kylian Mbappe for that number one spot, and I think that is something that can also help Erling Haaland if Arsenal win the Champions League.
yeah, yeah. I think also, yeah. I think in the beginning of the season, everybody was saying Mbappe was probably the favorite to win the Ballon d'Or. Look, his numbers are great. I think he's still winning the Golden Boot for the Champions League, but just those performances and all the drama has been off the pitch as well. I think it's going to affect that PR. But I think this season as well is so special. There's no like the season is about to end, and there's still not a certain Champions League winner. Unlike when Karim Benzema won it, it was so clear he's going to win it. And even last year is between two or three players. Now it's so many players that could generally go out to win it. It's really now depending on the final games and the World Cup that still has to come.
Yeah, it's true. It's their moment to really show the quality that they have in store for everyone. And this World Cup that's coming up, I think I was talking to a friend last night. He was saying that it's going to be one of the most entertaining, and that's kind of a controversial take, seeing as a lot of people don't think it's going to be as good as prior World Cups. But there are so many individual players and individual stars and so many different teams, including smaller teams. I mean, you have Kushanov for Uzbekistan, you have Kvaratskhelia for Georgia, Marmashvili, Kenan Yildiz, Chananoglu. You have Kevin De Bruyne, you have Erling Haaland, Norway, which is still considered a smaller team. Gyökeres, Isak, Iliman Ndiaye. I mean, just so many names in such a big tournament, the biggest World Cup I think, in the history of the tournament. And it's just really going to show the world what these players are capable of and why they deserve to win the Ballon d'Or.
Yeah, for sure. I totally agree with you. It's the big stages, the big games that really those players, if they want to go win the Ballon d'Or, they have to go and show it and prove it and show, yeah,
Yeah.
I'm the big name and I'm here, But it's in the hands. The Ballon d'Or, no one secured it. I think it's there to be grabbed, and whoever wants it has to get it, man. It's totally open to anyone
Yeah.
in there. Mhm.
So we were talking about how Arsenal might win the Champions League. At the end of the broadcast, they were saying, "Oh, the double is officially on for Champions League." Realistic for Arsenal. Realistically, there is no way Arsenal win the Champions League.
Dude,
Although as much as it hurts to admit, there is a pretty decent chance that they do win the Premier League.
Yeah,
Although like
yeah.
I don't want that to happen. So what are your thoughts on that
Dude,
especially with
yeah.
yesterday, Everton absolutely rocking Man City's world, drawing them
Yeah.
to a 3-3.
Mhm. Honestly, I wasn't really confident going into the game because yeah, we were playing good. We won against like big teams before, but we're so inconsistent this season, especially. I don't know what it is, but past the second half and the 60th minute past, we just forget. We just get so overconfident that it's always they come back, and it's been so many times this season. So honestly, I'm not surprised we dropped points. Of course, it's disappointing, but honestly, I'm even surprised we're competing for the Premier League right now, dude. It just shows you how poor our other competitors are that we're still competing, man. I mean, we've been horrible, so not bad, but yeah, Arsenal though they have a hand on the Premier League right now. It's honestly it's
Yeah.
there for the taking. I think we're gonna drop points again, actually. So, but like I said, I generally don't see Arsenal dropping those points. I think this is the season for him to take it. Disappointing in our hand, but we're just not good enough to win the Prem. But what can you
Right.
do? I don't think the double's on though. I think it's a
No, doubles not
25%
on.
chance they win that double, but it would be a miracle if they win that
It
double,
would be a
man.
miracle. It really
Uh,
would. And honestly, I wouldn't. I think I'm wondering if Arsenal are just going to focus everything they have into the Champions League and maybe slip up on the Premier League a little bit.
yeah, yeah.
That
I
is
think
my
yeah. Mhm.
That's my question. Because if that does happen, I see them dropping points to Crystal Palace. I do think that is a very possible. I do think there's a good probability of that happening. Burnley and West Ham. West Ham kind of they have everything to play for. I mean, they're in the relegation zone right now.
Yeah.
So I
So
don't expect that an easy game for Arsenal either because yeah, if West Ham were comfortably mid-table, then yeah, probably West Ham probably wouldn't really care about winning or losing that game. But this is to stay in the league. This is all or nothing. They're 1 point off from Tottenham. Every game matters at this point, and I think they're really going to give Arsenal a run for their money.
yeah, and London rivals as well. I think that game is probably the biggest one for Arsenal's before the final. But yeah, London rivals, and yeah, they're fighting for everything still. So I could see maybe something like that. We have seen Arsenal when they're on top, they do seem to lose. They lose the composure and drop points. We've seen that again. So I mean, I guess it's Arsenal's there to grab. Their one hand on the Premier League is just on them, but we know them for not following through. So there's still a chance. But
Yeah,
I
yeah, I
me,
agree.
they're still favorites for the Premier League.
Yeah. With that being said, we have Man City and Brentford over the weekend as well. Obviously, big game for the title race. Score predictions.
Oh, it's a tough one. Brentford are a strong side. They're doing a lot better than many thought they would be doing this season, but I don't know. It's a game to respond to. We really show Arsenal, hey, we need the win. We need the win to show Arsenal that we're still here. We're still putting the pressure on. But I think 2-1 as well, like a very scrappy 2-1, barely getting past. But really difficult game. I won't be surprised if we tie or drop points again. I'll be honest, man. Brentford is a tough side to go against.
Yeah, I'd have to agree with you. I think 2-1, a tight game as well. I mean, Igor Thiago is just criminally underrated as a striker right now, and he's on fire. He's obviously nowhere near Erling Haaland's level, but he's got 4 goals in his last 5 games, which is good form. That is decent form for a striker. That's what you want. So
Yeah.
I would agree. I
Mhm.
think 2-1 for Man City, especially playing at the Etihad. It'll give you a
Yeah.
bit of an edge.
Yeah. Mhm.
And then the last score prediction, another big title race is West Ham Arsenal. Obviously, West Ham with that relegation battle going on with Tottenham, which is topic for another day. But Tottenham playing Leeds, I think that's a comfortable. I think that's a comfortable draw. I think we'd probably agree on that, just an easy point for both teams. But West Ham fighting that relegation battle and Arsenal fighting for that title, completely different ends of the table. everything to lose and everything to gain at the same time.
Yeah.
What are the score predictions?
I think I think it go two ways. Either we do like a 0-0 or I see a 2-0, 3-0 Arsenal. It just
Really?
totally depends. I feel like they could be a little fatigued from today. Um but well, yeah, West Ham, I feel like they're gonna come in it, man. They're gonna do everything, but their attacking play isn't the best. So I could see him maybe withholding that attack and just keeping a clean sheet in both sides 0-0. But I feel like there is a good chance Arsenal, because it would be a spotlight on Arsenal. It's really win this game and really showing you beat the hardest fixture I feel like in the calendar for you for the rest of the Prem. This is
Yeah.
it. Like just do this and it's practically almost there.
Yeah. I would have to agree. I think it could go 3-0, 4-0 to Arsenal, but I think a more likable, probable cause is maybe a 2-2 overall.
Yeah.
They're playing at in London Stadium. I think that's the name of their stadium. I could be completely wrong. Yeah, they're playing at London Stadium. West Ham at home. They got Somerville. They got Bowen. I mean, these are players that Bowen is a West Ham coded player. You know, this is his club. This is his life. I don't think he'll let it go down without a fight. And Somerville this season has proven his quality as well. And I think Arsenal might just be losing a little bit of their focus now. You know, Champions League is up for grabs now. You know, in their minds, they think they have a chance at this illustrious Champions League trophy. You know, Premier League is going to be there every season. Champions League, only one team in all of Europe can win it every year. And I think that will really mess with their focus a little bit. I'm seeing a 2-2 overall and them dropping points, giving City another lifeline to go with.
Yeah, yeah. I agree with that too. I feel like yeah, Arsenal, yeah, they're in the final and they're on top of the Premier League. But yeah, as we've seen, they can't in their minds they just can't finish as strong. So I could totally see him dropping points. I feel like West Ham would be the game that they would. So maybe a tie. I think so as well.